This is Mitch with the 1000houses.com podcast, and I'm here with Shaun Young, and we're going to be talking about all kinds of strategies, but probably sub-twos, lease options, maybe some buy and holds. I'm not exactly sure, but one of the things I like to do before we get started is pay homage to our sponsor, taxfreefuture.com. If you don't have a tax-deferred or tax-free retirement plan in which to grow your finances, man, you are missing a huge tool in your tool belt. Please go to taxfreefuture.com. Learn how you can roll over from your IRA or your 401k or your solo 401k. Learn how you can roll over those things. It's a non-taxable event called a rollover. You can get it into an environment where you can self-direct where you invest your funds, and you can learn how to loan your money or to buy houses and use some of the strategies we're talking here, all kinds of things. Go to taxfreefuture.com. Watch the 37 little video vignettes, short, sweet, to the point, and you'll see some amazing things that you can do to grow a little bit of money in your retirement plans to lots of money with a little bit of savvy. All right, taxfreefuture.com, because you won't believe what your financial advisors are not telling you. All right, Shaun, we paid the bills.
Paid them bills.
So how are you doing today up there? You're in Georgia, right? Atlanta?
I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm doing awesome today, hoping that we avoid the hurricane, remnants that are coming through. And, other than that, it's a great day here in Atlanta.
So do you know a guy named Josh Pascal?
Josh Pascal doesn't sound familiar.
He's one of my students up there in Georgia. He's doing very well.
Okay.
I think he's outside of Atlanta somewhere. So tell us a little bit about your background so we can catch up with you.
Sure. Well, guys, I come from a sales executive background. I worked in corporate America for, my whole career after leaving the Air Force. I served our country for 4 years in the Air Force. I went straight from that into the workforce, which was sales. I stumbled into that. I had no intention to do sales. It just something that happened after the military. And I said, hey, you know what? I'm going to try to ride this thing out. And I happen to be pretty good at it. So got caught in feeling good about being, a good salesperson with my company. And I got cut. My company was based in Sweden. It's an international company, and they changed how they decided to do business in North America. And they got rid of the CEO in North America and his whole team, which was me and 749 other folks. So I said, you know what? I'm never going to be in this predicament again. I'm going to do everything in my power to try to figure out how to protect myself and my family to not let this happen. That's how I discovered real estate.
So I like to call that, you got to a point where I've had enough of this BS meter was pegged over in the red. And that's when it starts to happen. That's when you quit being safe or quit being conservative, and you get out and you try to figure out, how am I going to be my own guy? And that's not easy, is it?
No, not at all, Mitch, not at all. And you're right. I mean, it was literally that. I had to literally, like they say, that BS meter, you can only take so much before you're like, hey, you know what? Like I say, I'm not going to be in this predicament.
Anything's better than this, right? I'll take my lumps on the other side.
Anything is better than this. So absolutely. And once you get a taste of that freedom and a little bit of success, I mean, I tell you, you don't want to go back to that, other lifestyle.
Yeah. It is scary at first and can be a little daunting. But I think the fear is what motivates you, right? You got to have a little of that good, solid fear or you're not showing up for game day.
It's kind of like, it's like getting ready for a game. It's kind of like, you know what you can do, you know what you've got to do, but that, adrenaline is still right there in your stomach. And it's not really that you're afraid, but you're being aware so that you know what you can do and what you need to do to perform right.
Yeah, get it in a higher gear. Get ready. Indeed. Like they said, the coach used to say right before the game, it's time to strap it on, baby.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what's your specialization?
Well, I focus on doing wholesale deals and lease and sandwich lease options. Those are my investment specialties there.
Okay, so do you have a lot of buy and holds, or do you have any? Is it constantly one-time cash strategies, or tell me about your cash strategies, the different cash strategies that you exercise.
Sure. With the wholesale deals, those are our one-time cash strategies. However, with the lease options, I have two options on those. I do what's called wholesaling lease options, and I do sandwich lease options. So if I wholesale that lease option, it's a one-off. We're just going to do a one transaction. But if it's a sandwich lease option, there's money in the middle. I mean, money in the end for me to make money. It's an opportunity for a monthly spread. Then I'll stay in the middle, and that's what we call a sandwich lease option.
What's your opinion though on the lease options? Usually when you're doing it you're usually doing these things sub 2, right? You got some kind of underlying lender who maybe has a due on sale clause. Am I right so far?
Well, I've never run into that. I don't do these subject to necessarily. These are strictly, they're keeping the deed. They're still keeping the deed. I'm literally controlling it without ownership, but without taking the deed as well. So it's not a subject to situation.
Oh, that's cool. So you just get paid like a fee to make it all work.
Absolutely. I'm literally getting paid a fee to make it all work. I get an upfront non-refundable option fee from that qualified tenant buyer. Then we get the monthly spread over whatever the principal, interest, taxes, and insurance is for that seller. That goes in our pocket. And then, of course, at the end, when we cash out, whatever we've got over the asking price based on what's due on the mortgage, that's our profit as well. We like to call those golden gooses.
Your buyer is not he just has an option, right? And I guess he exercises option by getting a new loan sometime.
Yeah, what happens is when my tenant buyer comes in, usually I only deal with folks who are in predicaments where they can qualify in the future. I don't try to just take people who've got money and just take their payments, and that sounds really good, but I really want my folks to close on their deals and who have the intent on wanting to buy that property. So that non-refundable option fee, it's pretty significant so that they have some skin in the game. They understand that this is a owner situation. They're not coming in as a renter. And at the end, we have a company that facilitates it for them. We'll get them a lender. We'll get them connected with that lender. The lender lets them know what they need and what they need to process that transaction. My closing attorney closes it out, and everyone's happy at the end. I do little to nothing except for set things up at the beginning. My attorney will handle everything. And the company that I use to screen these tenant buyers, they'll handle everything from the middle on the end.
And that's the company you're using to screen them is the mortgage company. So they're kind of telling you, we think we can get this guy a loan, or we're not going to be able to get this guy a loan.
Yeah, the company, it's a nationwide company that works with a bunch of lenders out here, and they have a relationship with a bunch of lenders. So the lender will let them know what the criteria is up front. So they'll tell that tenant buyer, hey, sir, ma'am, you guys could buy within the next 6 months if you don't change anything. Or if you guys want to follow our program, we can get you ready in the next 12 to 18 months. If you just follow what we would like for you to do, we'll get you loaned.
Yeah. So that company wouldn't happen to be Lindio, would it?
It would not. It would not. I couldn't mention it if you like. It's strictly up to you.
Sure.
It's called Screen That Tenant. Screen the Tenant.
Yeah. I think I've interviewed them before, but if I haven't, I probably need to. Screen that tenant.
Yeah, screen the tenant. Yeah, Jesse over there is a great guy, and if you need, I'll definitely connect you if you need to be. Jesse.
You know his last name?
Mills.
Yeah, I've talked to him. Actually, I met him in a Ron LeGrand.
Yeah, that's how I met him. I met him through Ron LeGrand as my first mentor, and Joe McCall is another gentleman I work close with, and they was like, hey, this is the company that we're using. So I went ahead.
Jesse Mills was I had dinner with him and Lou Brown, and that's where I met Jesse at a Ron LeGrand.
Man, you're naming some names there, man. Lou is my good friend also as well. He's out here in Atlanta also.
I don't know. I mean, I cut my teeth on this business 25 years ago. I'm sure Lou wouldn't appreciate that. 26 years ago, that's how I learned how to do real estate, was Lou Brown and Ron LeGrand,
Wow, that is awesome.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, it's a small world. When you get in this, in this pond, it's pretty small.
Absolutely.
So you studied a lot of people, right?
Absolutely. Definitely studied a lot of people. Actually, Ron LeGrand was my first entrance into our business. I mean, you mentioned his name. I didn't know if we wanted to, say out any other name. So yeah, Ron he's like the godfather of us all, right? He's related to us in some form or fashion.
Yeah. Well, I don't have any trouble giving credit to people or talking about other people. I think that people need to find the person that they think they're a good fit for. And if that's you, great. And if that's me, great. And if that's Lou or Ron LeGrand or whatever, great. I don't care where you go. I mean, the whole point of this podcast is to help people find where they belong and get where they're going so that they can become who they're supposed to be. That's
Absolutely.
the whole point of this podcast. And
Absolutely.
so I'm just interviewing as many successful entrepreneurs or real estate investors or maybe some people with motivational stories that don't have anything to do with real estate, or maybe there's an inspirational story that has nothing to do with real estate, but it's inspiring. I'm just trying to get people fired up to get in control of their destiny and be who they're supposed to be.
And take some action, right?
Take some action, yeah. You know, to me, always the first step is to replace your JOB with your own business, because that'll give you 2,600 hours a year to focus on yourself and to become really good at something. And that goes a long ways towards getting your 10,000 hours, right? We all heard about the 10,000
Absolutely.
hours.
You know, like you said, take you a little over 4 years to get that 10,000 hours in. And, you know, that's at a 40-hour week pace. And we know that most entrepreneurs, we're not at 40 hours. We put in a little bit more to get where we're trying to go.
That's why I said 2,600, because if you do the math, it doesn't come out to 2,600, it comes out less. But if you're going to be successful, you have to be the kind of guy that puts in a little more hours than the average guy.
Absolutely.
So, you know, I think this is interesting. Tell me how much you think you've spent on education over how many years to get where you're at?
Well, I can tell you this. Right away, I spent $20,000 out of the gate on a program. I'm not going to mention the name at all, but it's one of these fancy guys at a hotel. And I went to the hotel event, and I just lost my job. I was just laid off. So I figured you got to spend money to make money. But that slogan is true to an extent. You just got to know where to spend it. So I didn't know what I was doing. I went to the back of that meeting and put down $20,000. 6 months later, I gave him another $5,000. So I'd say on education, Mitch, I'm about, $50,000 in easily, because once I fumbled on that first education, I realized how important it was to have the proper education. So I paid for mentors and, continuous ongoing training. And I'm in mastermind groups now, that's educational. So I would definitely say at least 50,000.
Yeah, but I want to clear up. You and a ton of people I know, and me, including me, signed up for things that I really wasn't sure I got my money's worth. It's unclear if it was because they didn't have the right program or I wasn't ready. Do you follow me?
I agree.
Maybe I wasn't ready. Maybe I wasn't even smart enough to keep up with what they were talking about, because I needed a much lower caliber education before I could understand what they're talking about. And then what's really important is understanding it's just one thing. To really be successful at these things that they teach right, you got to own the concept in your heart. Like, absolutely. I can tell you all day long, right? You don't need money to be successful in real estate. If you're not ready to receive that sounds like bullshit.
Indeed.
Right? But
absolutely.
Do you agree that you don't need money to be in real estate?
I would agree 100%. The only money that you need is enough to pay your bill for your phone. If you can make phone calls.
So let's just say this. There's nothing that doesn't cost money. So if you really want to split hairs, you can't even sleep at night for free, because you're burning energy. And at some point you got to get up and eat something. So, but as an overall general rule, don't take much to go out and
absolutely
put a deal together.
Much.
When you're a novice or you're an amateur, you're just starting out, you're really just a professional deal finder and contract writer-upper, if that's a word. I don't know if that's a word or not, but let's just make it a word. You're a professional deal finder, negotiator, deal writer-upper, and you may not have any money to close on that deal, but you got something of value in your hands if you did a good deal, right? And you should be able to find the money or find the partner or sell the paper to someone else, right? That's how everyone starts, right? Did you start that way? I did. I actually, what I did was I went out there and tried to figure out how to do this business. I went through Ron LeGrand after I fumbled through that year of spending almost $30,000, getting nowhere. Like you say, asking myself, am I just the dumbest rock on the block, or is this something just not for me? Like, is this stuff real? So, I took a second leap of faith, and that was with Ron LeGrand. And he literally had $1 course out there, guys. It was a course for $1.
and for 30 days access to his material. So I took advantage of that. Within 2 weeks, I was finished with this course. I made 8 phone calls and got my deal on the 8th call. 6 of those calls didn't answer. 7th one was a realtor. The 8th one, that was my interest into our business, guys.
And how much you make on that deal?
I made $62,000 on that deal.
62,000?
62,000, 1,800.
That's almost a curse. It's almost a curse to make that much money on your first deal. You know, that's what ruined
it. It was a curse. It was a curse. And you're 100% right. I right out of the gate had a lot of success. Just weirdly, oddly enough, I literally had like 11 properties under contract by the end of my first month in the business. And I figured, oh man, this is so easy. And those were wholesale deals. My first deal was a lease option. And I didn't even really understand the difference. I didn't really know.
So it was a curse though, right? Because you thought it was that easy.
I was like, this is easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Next thing you know, I've got, I only end up closing like 3 or 4 of those deals, but it taught me, you got to, work the process. Everything is not a deal just because someone, you learn a lot. You fail your way forward, as they say.
Well, that's the name of my first book, Failing Forward to Financial Freedom.
Man, I love it. Got to grab me a copy.
Yeah, it's a morphing. I'm still learning. It's 26 years later. I'm still learning because nothing stays the same.
Not at all.
So how many years have you been in the business?
4 years now. Headed into my 5th year.
What are you averaging? What's a year look like for you?
Well, we're looking at about 67 deals this year, but this has honestly been our best year. So it's
the year of COVID is your best year. Go figure.
COVID has been my best year. This past summer has been my best summer by far, and we are riding on that momentum and keeping that going.
Well, I think it's a pleasure. You offer some courses and stuff. Tell us the different levels and what you teach.
Sure. Well, guys, I do have a course out there. It is a wholesaling course, and it's a course for folks who are wanting to get into our business, who maybe feel like, I'm not fully super advanced. I'm not a realtor. I don't really know. Well, this book will walk you through everything you guys need to enter into our business. The first chapter is all about mindset, which, as Mitch kind of mentioned earlier, or nodded to earlier, is that if you don't believe you can do this, or if you believe this is BS, then it's going to be BS. So chapter 1 is all about
buy into it. Right. You got to drink the Kool-Aid on this deal.
You've got to drink the Kool-Aid.
When I had brain screwed myself to thinking that I couldn't automate my house business, my house flipping business, and I tried about 3 or 4 times and failed. And I was about to retire and just live off my storage income, my mini storage income. I have 14 facilities, about 1,300 doors owe me $100 every month. And I was about to, because I was burned out, because I was wearing every hat and I couldn't do it anymore. But then it was like, it's a shame to throw away $1 million a year. Like, can I just give away half of it to some really good people and just keep 500 and not walk away from the whole thing? Anyways, long story short, I decided I was going to make one more run at it. But this time I was going to get someone who had already done it. And I ended up getting in a mastermind with a whole bunch of people who had already done it. And I got to see how each one of them did it. And then I got to pick the pieces out of the ones and like kind of make my own way I was going to do it. But when I went to that mastermind meeting, and I was supposed to go to 4 quarterly meetings for the year for $30,000, okay? I told myself, I'm going to go there. I'm not going to talk. I'm going to listen. I'm going to go there with one goal in mind, and I'm going to drink all this Kool-Aid till my eyes are red or purple or whatever color that Kool-Aid is they're selling. And I'm going to let them unwind me and then let them wind me back up, just as long as I believe in the basics of it. And I only bought 30 houses that year because I had to slow down and back up and give myself time to build this organization. The reason why I failed the first times was because I wasn't giving myself permission not to buy 100 houses a year. So I was trying to fix my office with what was left over of me after 100 deals, and there was nothing left of me, And so I slowed down. I took some major steps backwards for 1 year. I concentrated on the problem, and I'm very proud to say, because I hired the right people and went with the right mindset and drank the Kool-Aid, I have not seen the last 400 houses I've bought, nor have I spoken to nor met the last 400 people that have bought my house.
That is awesome. That is awesome. That's a true business.
So yeah, and that was always what I was trying to do. But for the beginners out there, I mean, look, the man's does about 60 plus wholesale deals a year. I mean, if you do 10 of those, you probably can replace your income, depending on which 10 you pick. You never know which one you get again. Life's a box of chocolates, right?
A box of chocolates.
Yeah. So I say, if you want to learn wholesaling, I'll even raise my hand. I'm not really the guy to go to because that's not my niche inside the niche. This is this man's niche. So you want to learn how to wholesale. This is what the man focuses on. So I would say he's a better choice than me. Go to 1000houses.com/Shaun, SHAUN, Shaun Y as in Young, Shaun Y. So 1000houses.com/Shaun Y. And that'll get you over to the show notes. There'll be a copy of that book over there. There'll be contact information, whatever you need to get a hold of him or to review what he's got to offer. I'm sure there's a direct line to you somewhere or some way to get to you, right?
Absolutely.
So if they got questions or they just want to talk to you and clear some things up before they commit, or to know, and all the pricing and over there. But I've seen your prices. You are very reasonable, my friend.
Indeed.
I mean, it don't take a lot of savvy to get back what you're asking on that stuff. So I mean, it's a good price, guys. I mean, if you can't figure it out at that price level, I don't know what you can go pay $30,000 to figure out if you want to. You don't
exactly.
have to. It's not that complicated, right? You say it's not that complicated, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of minutia and some fine points that if you don't get them, you're going to miss a lot of deals and waste a lot of advertising money, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, Mitch, like you say, it's very affordable, very reasonable for folks who are out there wanting to enter our business and get into our industry. It leaves no excuses on the table for you. And, it's a very easy to understand book. It's like they say, wholesaling for dummies almost. And of course, we're not dummies out there, but I really want to make it in layman's terms so that you guys would not have complications on saying, what do I do next? It's a step-by-step instructional guide. And like Mitch said, you head over to his site there and you guys can get me personally for one-on-one mentorship as well.
Yeah, there's a couple of levels over there, but that's the point. So is there any other strategy that you specialize in? You do options and lease options, right? Yeah,
those are my two strategies there. I definitely would love to add some more to my arsenal, but like you said, sometimes when you're trying to build your business, you've got to figure out when is that good point to stop to figure out how to add that new, niche into your business.
I think we need to have a conversation because I think I can put you a great tool in your tool belt. So
I would love to.
You got a pencil and paper?
I've got it right here and ready to roll.
My personal cell phone number is 210-669-4020. And I don't have time today because I got back-to-back podcasts. But will you please send me a text and let's talk? Because I'm sure I can up your game. Because the reason why I'm saying this is Texas law and Georgia law on foreclosure and eviction and all, it's all the same. So we got some of the fastest foreclosure laws in the world. And that means that the seller finance strategy will really work for you. So just two things, help you. Let me show you how I'm raising private money and how you talk to these people, how you get this kind of, like I have like $26 million out right now.
Which is awesome.
Yeah. And then, so I didn't get on here to sell you anything, but when I know I can help someone, I know I can help someone. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I just know. So we'll talk, okay?
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it, Mitch. And guys who are listening out there, I just want you to notice how Mitch, I'm a guest on his show, but he still sees that there's something he can do to help. And that's what we want to do, guys. Pay it forward. Any way you can give, it's going to come back to you 10 times. Trust me, guys. Trust me.
I think that's written in the big book, isn't it?
It's written in the big book. It's written in that big book.
Yeah, we'd all be better off if we could live by those 10 rules. So I want to thank you for being on. I know we could probably talk forever. Again, go to 1000houses.com/Shaun Y, and you spell Shaun SHAUN, and then Y as in Young. 1000houses.com/Shaun Y, and check it out. I mean, I really don't know how you plan to go from zero and get in this game for any more affordable and from anyone who's so tightly focused. Because I think just about everyone starts out wholesale. I just don't know anyone who didn't.
Indeed.
Because,
and it's a good foundation to just have in your arsenal because you can wholesale anything.
Yeah, you can wholesale. You can move it to cars, lots, mobile homes. You can move it all over the place. The paperwork, just get the understanding of the concept, which is basically tie something up for a certain amount of days and then sell your position to someone. And the price this guy's charging, I mean, you shouldn't even do a deal unless it doesn't pay back what you paid him like 5 times. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So your first deal ought to get you your money back, get your money back plus a good profit. Now, let's not get confused on swinging for the fence on the first deal, though, right? The first deal, just make any amount of money. It don't matter. Just close one because that's
just
when
prove the concept.
That's when the concept gets ingrained into the heart. So I don't care if people say, I did my first deal, but it wasn't very big. I don't care if you only made $1,500 or if you only made $500. That's not the point of the first deal. The first deal is to start with zero and come home and show mama some money.
Absolutely, Mitch.
I could do it.
It's a proven concept. And guys, I'll walk you through your very first 3 deals. So I'm right there with you the entire time for 3 deals to make sure that we get it, guys. So I believe in my course. I believe in my ability to help you guys get these deals done, and we'll get it done, guys.
That's one of the differences, though. I want people to pay attention to this, what we're saying. When you get to some of those big box gurus, and I got nothing against them. Hell, I learned from them myself. I got nothing against them. But you got to understand, you're not going to be talking to the guy that's doing it every day. You're probably going to get subbed out to some underling that maybe did 20 deals in their whole life. Maybe. Okay? Maybe. Okay. I'm going to say this. I know some of the people that coach under these guys, and I don't understand why they're even elected to do it. But so the point is here, you got to measure when you're calculating who your coach would be. Are you going to get to talk to the guy that's actually doing it? Because if you get with Shaun, you're going to talk to a guy who did it 67 times last year and is doing it still this year right now. Absolutely. And you get to talk to him directly and ask your questions to him. That's different than if Shaun was subbing you out to someone who did their first 3 deals last week. It's completely different. Same thing with me. You get on my weekly call, you're talking to me or my partner. We've done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of deals. I can tell by the tone in your voice how your conversation is going on with your buyer, what's about to happen. I can just tell by the way the conversation's going. I might, because you're talking to the guy that has all that experience, I can tell you, look, this is what I want you to do, Shaun. I've heard your conversation with your buyer and I think something's up. So I want you to go buy a shovel. I want you to go to the back left-hand corner and I want you to dig a hole 4 foot deep, 4 foot wide and call me back. Shaun, you'll go get the shovel, you'll dig the hole, you'll call me back and go, how the hell did you know that was buried back there? Because I've dealt with these jerks before and I could smell it by the way the conversation was going.
And Mitch would only know that through experience.
And the person who's done 10 deals in their life or 20 deals don't know. I know that because I did 2,000 deals and just a lot of things have happened that I couldn't even make up.
Absolutely.
So, all right, man, go to 1000houses.com/Shaun Young. Anything you want to say to the guy just starting out and don't know if he can do it? Maybe he has his back pushed in a corner.
Guys,
maybe they got let go because of COVID. What do you got to say to them?
Guys, what I want to say is rock bottom is a solid foundation. All right. So don't give yourselves any excuses. Start where you stand. Fail your way forward. And like Mitch says, we're out here to help, guys. So if you're going to come to me for help, listen, help me, help you, help us all. And if the world operated like that, we'd be a much better place. And I'll definitely do my part, guys. Don't be discouraged. You can do it. Just believe that you can do it.
Yeah, and you got to put out the effort.
You got to put the effort in.
Sitting on a sofa, you got to believe with your button gear.
You got to marry that effort with that belief, and that's how you get the results.
Well, amen, and good work, Shaun. Sounds like you're doing good stuff, and we're going to help a lot of people. So
absolutely, that's what it's all about.
All right, this is Mitch Stephen with the 1000houses.com podcast or 1000 Houses podcast. I want to thank Tax Free Future for sponsoring this episode. Please go check out the 37 video vignettes. All that's required is that you go to taxfreefuture.com, fill out the little micro form with some phone number and email address and stuff. I promise they won't beat you up with a bunch of crap. They just want to know who you are, call you. Maybe they'll call you and ask you if you have any questions or something. But that'll get you to the 37 little video vignettes, which may get you in a position that you want to ask some questions because we cover a lot of territory and some of it's amazing. I've never opened up any of my IRAs with anything more than the minimum, which is at the time was $250. And I have grown those from 250 to anyone would be proud to own my IRAs. Anybody. I don't care who you are. You'd be a happy man if you owned any one of them. And I never put any more of my money in until they became tax benefit wise paid to put it in. So, but in my beginning years, for 10 years, I never put any money out of my pocket. I just made the money in there make money. And there are ways to take little bits of money and make big leaps. You just got to know the strategy. You don't know what you don't know. So check it out at taxfreefuture.com because you will not believe what your financial advisors are not telling you. All right, Shaun, thank you very much. You've been a great guest. And
thank you. I've loved being a guest.
You have a neat energy. And you've been in 4 years, but I think you're going to do very well.
I appreciate that, Mitch. I appreciate it. And I love your energy as well. And I'm looking forward to our follow-up after this meeting here.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you, Mitch.